Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Steam Shuffle. Today we're looking at Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Tree's Woe, and The Blight Below. That has got to be the worst title I've ever seen. Now, it's Dragon Quest Heroes, which originally was released on PS4, I'm not mistaken. It has been brought to PC by Koei Tecmo and published by Square Enix on December 3rd. And it is a full-priced release. It is a $60 release. It's actually on the Steam sale for the Square Enix sale right now. It's 33% off, so you can pick it up for $40 as of the time of the recording of this video. All things aside for a moment, I apologize ahead of time for any type of quality issues for sound or video on this one. I had a hell of a time getting this recorded. My normal recording software just doesn't like this game, so that being said, we're going to get right into it. So, Dragon Quest Heroes is, I think like the 9th game in the series for the Dragon Quest series, except this one is not along the normal line of the games like your regular Dragon Quest games. It's not a typical RPG. This is going to be more of a Dynasty Warriors-esque, Hyrule Warriors-esque clone. And it doesn't have characters from my understanding. It doesn't have any from the other series, although my Dragon Quest knowledge is fairly limited to Dragon Quest 7, I believe is the one on the PS2, and Dragon Warrior 3 on Game Boy Color. Those are the only two I've ever played, so I could be completely wrong there, but we're going to look at this one today. So just to jump in real quick to the graphics settings, there's a fair bit amount. It's just low, medium, highs, but how many characters can be displayed at any given time, which in a brawler like this, that can be really important for any type of performance issues you're having. There could be hundreds of people on the screen at any given time. Locked at 60, your quality settings right there, you can change them immediately, but I've got most of my stuff on medium, got textures on high, and I run 60-ish, but keep in mind I'm running a 270X 4GB card on here and an 8350 processor, so your mileage may vary. I know it's time for upgrade. I'll get there when I can. So a little bit, not too much. It is a PC port. At least they put something in there. What they did do is your keyboard settings. Why it says keyboard settings, I don't. It has both set here for attacks for the keyboard and the controller. However, my big bugbear of using keyboard and mouse and giving you the buttons to press for the Xbox controller is ever present in this title, and it's infuriating. So I went ahead and I decided to use the controller. I haven't even tried to do the keyboard because I don't know the prompts, and I really couldn't be asked to figure them out. Your mouse settings, left click, right click that. If you're going to use the mouse, that's how you do it. But we're using controller for this one, so we're going to venture forth. I've got, as you can see, about 4 hours into the title thus far. And take a quick peek. The load times are pretty hefty, but other than that, it's not too bad. I will say, in a lot of these menus, it is drawn out to a ridiculous amount. Anytime you go into accept a quest or buy an item or use alchemy to craft an item, it takes way too long, unbearably long. I'm going to give you an example here. This is the quest lady. Take on a quest. Alright. And we're going to do this quest. Why not? Yes, I'm sure I want to accept the quest. Okay, now I can go on. Good luck, blah, blah, blah. When you turn them in, it's the same thing. So it gives you that little 5-second pause, plays a musical tune, maybe even longer than 5 seconds, and then it gives you the completion. It's unnecessary padding, and it's infuriating. When I'm sitting here turning in 3 or 4 quests at once, it's like, push the button. Wait. Thanks for turning in the quest. Here's your item. Here's your reward. Okay, now let's do it again. Push the button. Wait. And it keeps going. I mean, that is infuriating. That I have no idea why they do that. It reminds me of the way the Game Boy Color version of Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior 3 took so long to give you things. That I can understand. It's a Game Boy Color game. This is running on my PC. Give it my goddamn quest reward and be done with it. Minor nitpick aside, on with the show. So you have your world map here, and you basically just go to whichever one's open. I am on the third world at this point. You can replay other ones. I don't think they ever actually end, because I did one for 45 minutes and enemies just kept coming, so I think you just have to escape, and you keep all your items and experience earns when you escape from the battle. So really it's a go in here, grind out items, grind out levels, grind out money for as long as you want. And I'm going to use that phrase a lot in this, because this game is basically a grind. It is through and through a grind. You just keep killing the monsters that pop up over and over again. Now this one does a few things differently, and if it's a Dynasty Warrior clone-esque game, that's kind of to be expected, but I don't know. I've played a couple of Dynasty Warriors. I've played Hyrule Warriors, and I can't not compare this game to those, especially to Hyrule Warriors, with the art style in this one. Very similar to that. Alright, this is actually a story mission. There is a story in this. It's good versus evil. I'm the bad guy. You're the children of the light. Ha 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 type of stuff. All the monsters were friendly. Now they're not. Now we're killing them. You know, whatever. It's forgettable. It has very little bearing on the gameplay itself. I will say some of the characters are fairly enjoyable. The little Russian, I'm gonna punch everything in the face girl, she's hilarious. I like her. Terry is the American guy. They have accents for these characters. Like the two main characters that you play as, they have a British accent, and then the two that I found are the Russian bodyguard and the little Russian girl, and then Terry here, he has an American accent, and the main bad guy sounds like Antonio Banderas. I'd be highly surprised if he actually did not voice act it. It's pretty similar. Alright, gameplay. So it's really straightforward. You have your regular attack that doesn't use magic, and you have your strong attack that can chain into magic. Now there are two different control settings in this. One, your attack 2 will, at least I'm guessing, I haven't messed with it too much, but I believe it won't chain into your magic attacks, because you have to hold down your right trigger to do that, just to pull up the menu like that. I would imagine the other control setting will not do them automatically, because as in the one that I have it in, if I'm just hammering Y, it will use random magic effects. Now I think there's different combos that will trigger the other ones, but honestly I hammer Y and sometimes it does lightning, and other times it shoots fire, and other times it does a fire tornado. So I'm really not sure. I'm gonna say it's kind of like easy mode in Devil May Cry, whereas you hammer the button, it does all the combos for you. Kind of sort of like that. Although there's not really many combos to speak of, so it's not so much like you won't feel bad doing it this way, whereas the other one is clearly easy mode. It just makes it to where I don't have to hold the trigger down, and it does them randomly. Although that can hurt you, because some of the enemies, like the killing bots that I came across, they're weak against zap, so you want to use all your magic on zap because it stuns them. The other ones don't. So they even call it strategist mode, I believe, is the other mode. So I killed me a Maw Keeper. The Maw Keepers are the portal keepers. As soon as you kill them, the portals stop coming. And this title does something different than the others in the Dynasty Warrior series and Hyrule Warriors, at least from what I can see, is these little monster tokens. And I have actually never got this one, so it'll give me a good demonstration here. So there's two types. There's Sentry, which it will stay wherever you summon it, and it will defend a particular area. And then the other ones are single uses, and they're usually more powerful. Sometimes they'll recover your mana, or they'll heal you, or something like that. And it has a tower defense feel to it. Not so much on this map, but I'm sure I'll get to one here in a moment. Oh, there's one of those hunter mech things I was talking about. That it kind of, you have a point that you have to defend, and you can summon your various creatures to stay at that point to help you defend it, because you'll have multiple choke points and you'll have multiple paths that they can run in to attack it from. So setting up a few of your monsters there to kind of hold them off until you can get back to kill them really helps out. The AI on the enemies is what you would expect from a Dynasty Warriors hack and slash game. They're idiots. They stand here until I kill them. Now, there are a couple of bosses that I came across, which would kind of have more of a throwback to Hyrule Warriors. Hey, I got an... That's the Savior. That's the other type. So he rumbles forward and pulverizes everything. But once I use him, he does not come back. Anyways, it's kind of similar to Hyrule Warriors with some of the bosses. Like, they take a beating, and they do have different weaknesses, and you can die to those. But just regular monsters, like what I'm killing right now, good luck dying to it. Seriously, if you're dying to it, you're doing something wrong, because they're cakewalk. So I just beat that mission entirely, and the way this is going to work is it's going to take me back to my airship, and then I'm going to go back to the guy, the random guard, who's going to take me to the world map, and I'm going to click the same button, and it's going to bring me to this same exact map with a different objective. And that's pretty much the gameplay in a nutshell. You do the mission, you go to the map, it'll load in, you go back, do the next one in the row, and at the end of it, you'll fight a boss. Pretty cut and dry. I do like the aesthetic. It's fairly flashy, although you kind of have to be with this kind of game. And it is very colorful. I like some of the characters in it. But I'm not... Other than the monster medal system, I'm not seeing much new here. There's not a whole lot that I can't get out of like a Dynasty Warriors game, which, to be fair, has way more characters than this one. I think I have 7. 3 of them follow me, and you can switch between them. Now, I don't believe you can do that in a lot of the Dynasty Warriors games. Could be wrong again. My experience with them is limited to like 3 of them, and I don't remember being able to do that in a Dynasty Warriors game, but I'll admit that I haven't played one in a while. So, again, could be wrong there, but I don't believe you can. So, for instance, let's... Was it not letting me swap to a different character? Okay, well, apparently it doesn't want me to swap to a different character. I can't do that now. That makes no sense. I haven't had a problem with that before. Huh. Alright, well, I guess I'm not swapping to a different character. The other characters are fairly similar to one another. The magic abilities they get are different, and the girl with the white hair, she is a clone of you, but except instead of using fire, she uses ice. I mean, all of her abilities are identical. The Elena that I have there, she's kind of what do you call her? The brawler type. She's the a savior. She punches, kicks, all that good stuff. She's hilarious, though. Out of all the characters, that one I've actually enjoyed quite a bit. Your main guy is, oh, let's strategize and think about this, and then the other heroine, the other protagonist, she's, no, we don't need to strategize, let's just run in there and fight. You know, it's very basic tropes, really, that kind of they're known throughout most games, but it's very bland. Like, that story is nothing to write home about. I think that just the Russian accent makes me giggle on the one character. So I will say there's a fair variety of enemy types. This is the 3rd story mission I've came across. 10 at least, and there's 2 that I've seen so far. Let's summon one just to kind of show it off. D-pad, summon, roll forward, and smashes down and kills everything. Awesome, awesome. You have your tension gauge that I haven't even used. It's, well, at least during this recording, that little pink gauge next to my portrait. Once that fills up, I go Super Saiyan, literally. None of my moves consume magic points, and then at the end of it, or if you want to finish it sooner than that, I destroy them. I think that's best to demonstrate actively, but if I remember correctly, Dragon Quest VII, the character designs were designed by Akira Toriyama, who is the designer, or he's the creator of Dragon Ball Z, and it shows that he may have had a hand in this one as well. Specifically with tension. I'm not kidding. When I launched that, instead of turning yellow, I turned pink, and my hair stands on end like a Super Saiyan. Like, it's... Plus, the animation style is very similar to Akira. That actually wouldn't be bad to look up, but I wonder if he does all of them now, because that would make a whole lot of sense. The story missions are really easy too. I was kind of reading through some of the Steam reviews, and a lot of them said like, "Oh, this is really hard." Maybe I haven't got to that point, but out of all the words I would use to describe Dragon Quest Heroes, hard would not be one of them. There's no way. It's hack and slash, keep hammering the button until things die. There is no difficulty in it. Some of the bosses can be a little tough, I guess, but again, dodge out of the way of their highly telegraphed attacks, you'll be fine. These games are not meant to be difficult. They're meant for you to kill hundreds of people on the screen at once and make you feel like a badass. And that's okay. That's why I play these games. I don't want them to be incredibly like Lubu style difficult. The story, this one's actually really slow paced. I have found that it doesn't give you a ton of enemies at once, which is kind of disappointing because that's what makes it fun, is when you've got hundreds of guys flying off the screen at once. I mean, I've got like maybe 20 or 30, and I've replayed some of the other missions that had a whole lot. I think the one that actually threw like maybe 100 at me was a treasure map that I found that I went and killed slimes, and they literally die in one hit anyways, so that was uneventful to say the least. Let's go ahead and trance up and finish these guys off. Super Saiyan Pink! Hair stands on in, fly in, zap a few guys, flame slash a few guys. Where is my generator? The AI is that is laughably bad. I mean, I know they're supposed to be, but they literally just kind of walk around in circles. But so do your partners. They don't do a whole lot. There's that Omni Slash of Doom. Not Omni Slash, but you get the idea. Got another Maw Keeper pulled up. I really wish I knew why I can't change my characters. I wonder if my controller messed up. My right trigger, I have found, is having a hard time working now on my Xbox controller for this, because it likes to flip in and out there. So I have to really press it hard for that. So it's kind of a good thing that they have the easy mode, so I don't have to worry about that. But I wonder if my left trigger stopped working for some reason too because of that. What is the keyboard control for that? Because I really want to switch to a different character to show that off. Can I not? Settings. Oh, there we go. Keyboard controls. What is change character? Tab. Okay. So, tab. There we go. I'll switch to another character. Again, she's carbon copy, but she uses ice instead of fire, as you can see. I think I just finished it. No, I didn't finish it. Okay. And then punchy Russian girl with funny hat. I think she's some kind of princess. It's like Sovatki or something like that. I guess her name's Elena, but I don't think I've heard her say Elena once. She's pretty. She takes a lot of hits. She is really easy to take down, but she combos like crazy. All of her hits are little hits, but there's so many of them that it does the same amount of damage roughly. Divide and conquer, turn into 3 people, throw a whole bunch of fists out there. Still getting stomped into the ground though. Oh, and I forgot about the 4th character that I have in this particular party because I never use her. She actually is ranged. She uses boomerangs. And she has a little gimmick that if you time the button press just when the boomerang comes back, she'll throw 2 of them and do her little special attacks. But she is so slow that I can't use her. When I've got 20 people in front of me and I have to wait 3 seconds between attacks. She does have very powerful magic, and that's kind of what she's meant to do, and kind of attack people from range. But she's just not really fun to play. Oh, let's time my boomerang throws. There we go. Does have some pretty cool magic though. Yeah. And a little power thrust there. Yep. That's Isla. Normally I find myself just sticking with the main character here. Your main that you run. It's just easier. The slime token system's cool, and I like that it's there, but it doesn't really change too much for me. At least from what I've found, it doesn't do a whole lot. It just kind of makes it to where I can get back to this wall here before I lose it. and gives me more time since I do 90% of the work. Which, again, that's typical for Dynasty Warriors. But I think my final thoughts on this are very simple. It's a $60 release with Dragon Quest characters and the art style. If you have a Wii U, why would you get this over Hyrule Warriors unless you prefer the Dragon Quest characters over the Legend of Zelda characters? That would be the only reason. You like those characters more. You like that world more. And if that's your jam, cool. Go ahead and pick up Dragon Quest Heroes. If not, and you have a Wii U, get Hyrule Warriors. It's the same price. It's a full release, and it just does things better. The story actually is a little bit compelling to keep you playing. I don't even read the dialogue half the time with these guys. It does have some pretty cool cutscenes in it. They're very well done, and there's quite a few of them. And that's when you get to hear a lot of the voice acting and everything. But I couldn't care less about this story. I really couldn't. If you don't have a Wii U and you like the aesthetic of it, cool, pick it up for that. But if you want the actual experience of just wrecking hundreds of dudes like you are doing in this, play Dynasty Warriors instead, because it does it way better. It's been doing it way longer, so they have experience doing it. I mean, I'm trying to find things that this game does different than those that makes it better, and the only thing really is the monster emblem system, which is a cool gimmick, but I don't really use it a whole lot, and the aesthetic of it. I will say that I kind of like these characters a little bit more than the Hyrule Warrior ones, but that's more because they're different now, and I'm just tired of seeing Link all the time. But that combat feels way more weighty than this does too. Now, I am familiar with a lot of the monsters in this, because I've played a couple of the other games, and it's very cutesy. Obviously, you have the slimes and everything that are just they literally smile when you're smashing their faces in. So it has more of a. I think this would be probably a good one to get some younger children instead of having them play Dynasty Warriors. Let them play this one because of the aesthetic of it. But I have a Wii U, so I would probably let them play Hyrule Warriors before I get this one for them. And again, at $60, why? Here's one of those cutscenes. The cutscenes, again, are really well done. I really do like them. I don't like that little slime there with the crown on his head because he's fucking irritating. His voice drives me insane. He teaches you the tutorial, and I wanted to strangle that little bastard before the end of that tutorial. That's for sure. Anytime he opens his mouth, I hate it. I can't stand him. I want to stab him in the face. Okay, so I'm the strategist. I'm going to tell him how to do all this, and then she goes, shut up, and we're going to do a pincer attack and kill them all. They kind of go back and forth like this. It's a very average trope, like I was saying before. Oh, I do know that guy. He is a character from the Dragon Quest VII that I've played. Okay, that's cool. So, these other characters, they keep saying they're from different realms. I bet you they're from the different games then. That makes sense, because I do know those guys. Okay, so there are characters from the other Dragon Quest lines in this game, similar to how you do Hyrule Warriors. So that's cool. Yeah, with that right there, that kind of swayed me a little bit. So if you are a fan of the Dragon Quest universe, you're a fan of the music, you like the characters, you like the aesthetic, you love the monsters, you would want to get this one over Hyrule Warriors if you like Dragon Quest more than Hyrule Warriors. Because that's what you're doing here. They're basically the same exact game. You pick the one that you like the universe more of. And if neither one really tickles your fancy and you want something a little more brutish, Dynasty Warriors. That's the way to go. That's what I would do. And that would be my recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Quest Heroes available on Steam and PlayStation 4, if I'm not mistaken, for $60 or your regional equivalent. At this time, it is on sale as of the recording of this video on Steam for $40. If you like what you see, pick it up. Give it a shot. Until next time, this has been the Steam Shuffle. My name is Asher, and you take it easy.